It has been 8 days since the Lock Adventuring Company had their encounter with the Lord of Words at the Dirtmoor Stone Circle. Sasha has been helping Maddox settle in, and they were looking for some lodgings when they were contacted by William and Audra, who informed them that Captain Hayes had apparently left the Lock Adventuring Company his house in his last will and testament. They had also been given 2,000 silver pieces each that Lord Draco Harper had left them on his deathbed as payment for releasing him from the Lord of Words. These wishes were conveyed to them by Captain Isaiah McCormack on behalf of his now deceased lord. Following the death of Draco, his son Oscar and daughter Juliana arrived in Porthcroll by coach. It is understood that, as the oldest male heir, Oscar will succeed his father as the Lord of Porthcroll, although he won't officially take on the title until after the funeral of his father. However, you would know that it would be expected for the whole of Porthcroll to attend. It's a big church festival. Obviously, religion is a very important thing for many people's lives in the Havenlands. Obviously, Audra, we know that you don't follow the worship of the one god. You're a Dagonite, but it's up to you guys what you do. But as the day of the funeral comes around, those of you who ventured recently into the church know that the church was being prepared by Archdeacon Valentine Main and his priests for the funeral. It was being made ready. As the day of the funeral approaches, which takes place on Sunday the 17th of October 1540, there is a hubbub of activity in Porthcroll. People are lining the streets hoping to get a glimpse of the body as it's paraded from the Harper estate down to the Church of Peaceful Repose, where the funeral will take place.
I really think we need to hire someone to do a statue. That would be the appropriate thing to do.
Well, if you insist.
Well, we will start a whole legacy, right?
A statue
Edwin.
of Hayes or this Harper bloke?
No, I don't. Of Edwin Locke, our founder.
Who?
Edwin Locke, he died fighting a zombie.
Oh, right.
I would also like to have at least 2 guards to guard this house, because our loot is in here, and I think some thieves might try to break in for a couple of thousand of silver. And also I would like to hire this Woolseed guy. He's had provided pretty good information this yet, and he seems to know how to get information and hide himself.
Yeah, but how about we just pay him on a case-to-case basis?
He will retain loyal if we pay him up front.
As you're having this discussion, there comes a quiet knock at the door of this new headquarters you've got.
That's our home.
Lovely.
You suddenly see a rat which comes out of behind William and stands on his legs, behind legs, like this. Doesn't move anymore. I managed to learn to control them.
You open the door, Maddox, and there's a tall, barrel-chested, gruff-looking man wearing a white, sort of grimy apron stood outside the door. He appears to be holding a large haunch of cured meat over his shoulder.
Turn around and are we expecting a meat delivery?
The gruff-looking man stands there. He looks a bit sort of uncomfortable. He's shifting from one foot to another, and then he says, "No, it's not a delivery. I just wanted to. I heard you lot got a new gaff. I wanted to come up and thank you for all your help with Poppy. So here." Oh. And he holds out this big haunch of cured meat towards you.
I'll just kind of step to the side.
Okay, well, that should take a bit.
Alf Dunham leaves them with the meat as a gift, and also mentions that he'll be selling libations to the crowds gathered for the funeral of Lord Draco Harper. After a little bit of negotiation, he agrees to sell Maddox a large cask of ale.
Better than pond water, still alcoholic, but not to be served in a goblet.
And says he'll have it ready for the dwarf by the time he reaches the Siren's Whisper later on in the day. In the distance, you hear the sound of the church bells start to toll in Porthcroll.
Well, let's go then. I'm still wearing my leather armor, of course.
It's fine.
I can't take it off, so...
As the bells start going off, he's probably come inside to put on his fancy shirt that he got from Sasha, and all the bling bling stuff, which he's got it all out on there with the the 70s chest hair thing going on, and all his I'll just check how many things I have.
But basically, to sum this up for the rest of you, the way Audra looks now, it looks as though sort of like Arnold Schwarzenegger's Conan was going to a fancy dress do, and he couldn't decide between 80s New Romantic and Mr. T, so he decided to combine the two.
Yeah, 80s Mr. T.
Mad Dog, can I trust you to dress yourself?
I'll just kind of look at him in a hurt manner and be like, "Aye,
Good.
why would I not be able to dress myself?"
Well, these two aren't. Oberyn, unfortunately, you can't show up with all the Dagon bling.
Why not?
Well, technically...
What he said.
Well, technically it's from the church, at least part of it.
Yeah, from the not official part of the church, and who knows what this new priest is. I guess I just have to wear a cloak too.
Aren't human females able to use powder or something to hide their faces?
Yes, but since the only thing we've been purchasing for the last couple of months is gunpowder and stuff to kill people, I really haven't been up to my human female purchases. Looks this day is blessed by Dagon, huh?
Audrey is sort of sulking as we walk, and then it just sort of goes yes, and ruffles Shasha's head through the cloak, because you probably got that on now. Yeah. So just does a little thing, and then rubs his hands together and looks to the sky, and just mumbles something about Dagon watching over us. This is gonna be a good day. And his spirits are lifted instantly, and the mist recedes through his skin back inside.
We're going to a funeral. We need alcohol.
The Lock Adventuring Company head out onto the streets of Porthcroll. They can see in the distance a large funeral procession emerging from the Harper family estate, accompanied by the sound of regimental drums making their way south towards the Church of Peaceful Repose. Moving ahead of the procession, our heroes reach the Inn of the Siren's Whisper just across the way from the church, where Maddock picks up his ale from Alf Dunham and young William buys some fish from him. Okay, the procession is continuing down the street. Now it's a little bit closer. You can see that there is a small group of these armoured guards surrounding what you assume to be Oscar Harper, and you know William to be Lady Juliana Harper, the red-haired woman walking next to him. She has a veil and a hooded cloak on, shielding her against the weather. Lord Oscar Harper is wearing all of his finery, although it's looking a bit sorry now because it's obviously got wet as they've travelled from the Harper residence. You can see that a couple of guards behind them are effectively carrying a wooden casket, which you would assume to hold the body. And at the back of them what appear to be another handful of guards, although these aren't wearing the House Harper regalia. They're wearing regalia showing the sign of the White Rose. And walking at the head of them is a tall, statuesque man with a slight amount of stubble around his beard, wearing a chainmail coif and various other armour and accoutrements. He also wears the emblem of the White Rose, and he has a large sword scabbarded at his hip.
All I can say is while that's going on, I'm going to get some of my rope and lash the barrel so effectively I can walk with it like a backpack.
That's absolutely fine, not a problem.
I would like to whisper to Sasha. We need to kill that one, and I point at Oscar.
Your conversation is broken as the procession is moving between a number of buildings. There is suddenly a cry of "Death to the Royalists!" and 6 figures converge on the funeral procession. As the bandits converge on the funeral procession, our heroes move forward to meet the rest of the funeral party and perhaps help them. Meanwhile, William sees his chance to potentially take out Oscar Harper and begins to sneak amongst the wagons and barrels laden in the area. As he creeps into position, William thinks back to a conversation he had 2 days earlier with his fellows.
Just so everyone is does know what's going on, I got summoned by Lady Juliana Harper, so my true form.
That was weird.
Yeah, because my body acted on its own and stuff.
Yeah.
And Lady Juliana Harper said she needed an ally to kill her brother, and if she does, and she would help me get some of my powers back if I help her kill him. She would look for a good opportunity to kill him, and then needed my help or our help to kill him. And we would get. She even offered to get us more things beside that. So she seems to be not in charge. Oscar is the next in line. So she's basically powerless, and Oscar seems to be a pretty bad dude.
So one noble wants us to kill another noble,
Yeah.
and in return she will make you a real demon boy?
No, she will give me some of my powers back. She will coordinate my body with my spirit a bit better.
Okay. And how
She
do
is-
we know she has that ability to give?
I point at the rats again, because I assume we had done this before, so I had this power already. So
Okay.
I could command rats at this point.
So
She gave it in advance, and I made a promise to her that I would help her. So I will help her no matter what. But you guys can decide if you want to or not. But assuming we kill him and let it look like it would be legitimate or an accident, then she would be next in line, and we would have the next Lady Harper as our ally.
Who? And a demon?
Oh, I assume we didn't tell you already. I'm a demon.
Maddox just kind of like leans back in the chair and just kind of like, of course you are.
No, seriously, I'm a demon.
No, it's not that I don't believe you. It's just, and he just kind of like shakes his head. He's like, yeah, of course you are.
This is not my body. I normally look some different. And I point at Sasha. She is basically my master.
Anything to add, Sasha? That seemed pretty well-rounded.
Since we have two heavy drinkers in our mess, I assume we have a stock of whiskey, so she will get some whiskey from the dwarf. Maybe this would help a little.
That could soften a blow.
Demon is kind of like a loaded word.
They are servants of the true gods.
Yeah, I'm
Nothing
not
to be afraid of.
Normally, people on this plane call me demon, but I'm basically just a servant of one of the old ones.
You claim power from someone who has a great amount of it. I understand.
I was made by him, technically, so yeah.
A child of that person?
You could tell, so yeah.
That's how I would understand it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the thing is, he was trapped in a book, and
He kind of like has half a sip and then just kind of like puts the drink back into his glass. He's like trapped in a book, you see.
Yes. Oh, by the way, Lady Juliana Harper has this book currently.
Could she put you back in the book?
I assume yes.
but hang on, we got back to that.
Yeah.
Yes, he was trapped in the boat. I was studying the book and set him free. So we decided to hey, let's be highwaymen, and we left.
There is a knock at the door, and Darnie, the young daughter of the sage Salazar, arrives, coming in the place of her father to check how Audran's studies in herbalism are progressing. As she is there, she happens to mention that her father is preparing for a visiting academic who is coming down for the funeral ceremony. She mentions the name Corbin Thorne, which instantly sets Sasha on edge. Corbin Thorne being the name of her cruel ex-master, whom she fled from with William. A short while later, after Darnie has left, they discuss their plans and the fact that William has made a pact with Juliana Harper to slay her brother, allowing her to assume control of the family. Although shocked a little by this and the revelations, Maddox says that because the group has helped him bind the Lord of Words, he will stay with them and protect them as they can. That would be a good time to fade out of this flashback and back into the present day. Indeed, the misty camera filter comes on and we fade back into present day.
Okay. Do we draw initiative now? Okay, first thing I would like to hide.
That's fine, make your roll.
Okay, I hide successfully.
No problems.
And then I would like to sneak into position, starting here somewhere. Can I? Do I have line of sight to Oscar from here?
You do indeed.
I
Okay,
would like to use my turn to aim at him.
that's absolutely fine. Okay, Maddox, where do you want to be placed since everyone else has moved themselves?
I will actually probably be still with Sasha, because although I know that there's stuff going on, I'm not entirely faux with actually the goings and goings of it, so I was just kind of probably in the midst of pouring myself a mug of ale from my backpack bar, and just kind of like, oh.
Indeed. Okay.
Murder, she wrote. So these are the good guys. These are the innocents, and these are the bad guys.
This is the funeral procession, and these are the people who are intent on attacking them.
Good and evil is very, very hard to tell in this campaign, to be honest.
Indeed, it's a subjective term. Okay, so William, you've taken your go, you're aiming, you've got yourself into position. We move on to Sasha.
She's probably just gonna move over here and chill and see what the armored dudes are doing.
Okay, so Maddox.
So, do we assume there's a lot of villages around?
Yeah, there's a lot of villagers. As soon as it looks like a fight's about to go down, they're all sort of panicking and screaming and trying to get out of the way.
Okay.
But obviously I don't want to fill them up. Yeah, effectively, if you see the shadowed areas on the map, they're sort of like awnings that have been set up alongside the street. And like I say, it's almost like a festival. There's barrels and crates, tables. People have been sort of trying to cater to all the villagers that have gathered and the people who visited from nearby villages. But obviously, since the fire break out, everyone's like, "Fuck this!"
So this is under a canopy, or?
Indeed.
Okay, well, in that case, I will relatively calmly, still not entirely know what's going on, walk over to there and just kind of unhook my barrel and just stand the half-filled pint mug down on the table.
Nice. Okay, so we move on to Audra.
I assume you could see me hiding somewhere, but where I went, because I can't disappear or something.
Yeah, they'll have probably seen you sort of like skulk off down to the side near that large tree, but they'll have lost sight of you in the shadows near the tree.
I was drawing my crossbow, just so you know.
Yeah, that's fine. I assumed you were.
How do you do the measurement line again?
It looked like
The ruler on the left side.
Yeah, you click on that, then you click and drag.
How far can we walk per turn?
That depends, like 30 feet.
I think it depends on the race, yeah.
Yeah, 30 is a good safe bet, though.
John, how much is a turn in this game? Is that like 10 rounds?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, something like that, yeah.
Yep, I'm gonna go there, and well, since everyone is shouting and stuff, I'm gonna pray to Dagon and bless myself.
Nice.
So,
Get that bless on.
yep. Let's see how Dagon feels about this day.
Oh, he's
Nice.
very happy.
Nice.
Obviously,
raining, he likes it.
the rain and the slate is obviously putting you in your
Yeah.
element, as you call on Dagon.
Yep. So I walk up there and I'm facing the sky with the sleet coming down, and whisper words in the tongue of the old ones, praising Dagon. And I'm uplifted by Dagon's power, obviously, with that roll.
Indeed, and in fact, as you intone to a prayer to Dagon, the sleet that had previously been fairly light starts to fall more heavily.
Yeah.
Just so I know, the NPCs also had an ace, but a last?
Yeah, because it does it on suits as well.
Okay.
Well, like I say, it's not really important because it's purely random anyway. It's just like a way of quickly randomly determining it.
Okay.
Okay, so we're going on to the NPCs. The tall, statuesque figure here looks directly across at you, Maddock, and he shouts in a sort of booming baritone voice, "Master Dwarf, get Lady Juliana to safety." At which point Lady Juliana is like, no, Richard, I should stay here with you. He says, "Don't argue, we need to get you to safety while we deal with these vagabonds."
I will kind of just shrug my shoulders and start walking towards her.
Okay, so I'll just do the other NPCs quickly. So these figures start to converge with their short swords drawn. One of them moves to here. He throws a dagger. You see it hit Captain Hayes just through a chink in his armour. He claps his hand to his chest and grunts in pain as he pulls the dagger out. You see a brief spurt of red blood as he does so. The guards and Hayes begin moving forward to engage these assailants. A couple of them stay behind, obviously, to protect their noble masters. Okay, William.
Is Oscar currently considered to be attacked from behind?
Yeah, he's not aware of you, so yeah.
Well, she technically didn't tell me to kill him now, but it's an ambush, and maybe there's some of these guys hiding, so I shoot him with my crossbow.
Go for it.
Okay, so...
I don't know why you try to justify it. William always shoots someone with his crossbow.
His armor class is 12.
Yeah, the thing is, I've got a light crossbow, so it's +2. I've aimed, so it's +4. I've attacked from behind, it's another +2, and I've got a dexterity bonus, that's +1. Did I miss something? I think that's it.
Okay, go for it.
So +4, +2, another +2. That's +8.
Just don't roll a 1. If you have an AC of 12.
+9. I think it should be +11 because of my sneak attack.
Go for it.
So the +3 is already counted in, so +8. And it's double damage.
Okay, would you like to narrate how you kill Oscar Harper?
It's pretty. It's pretty unspectacular, to be honest, because I just shoot my bolt somewhere behind, so it penetrates behind his armor, so we can't see anything happening. He just grabs his back, looks a bit confused, and falls from his course. Well, is he on his horse?
No, they're just walking. They're in a procession.
Okay, he just falls down. And then I would try to move away as fast as I can.
That's fine. Make your move. And the Lord Harper sort of screeches a little in a high-pitched voice and falls forward with this crossbow bolt protruding from him. At which point, Lady Juliana sort of throws herself over her brother, and she's like, "Oh my God! Those ruffians! They've slain my brother!" At which point, you hear Richard, the statuesque figure stood near Maddock, points at two of the guards and snaps out in a commanding voice to them, "You guards, get the Lord Harper out of here!" And they sort of like nod and salute. But before any of that happens, Sasha.
Sasha's gonna try her new spell. So as she's standing there under the canopy in her big coat, she's gonna cast a spell. With everyone's attention
Summoning.
More demons, more demons.
Yeah, because summoning never goes wrong.
Yeah. No, she's gonna go with something a little bit safer.
What, you mean like any other spell?
Literally everything else.
Literally every other spell, yeah.
But now she's gonna cast ESP on Juliana.
Okay, now
So-
obviously this is one of your uses, so you get to cast it automatically. So that's fine. So just to sum up for anyone who doesn't know what ESP does, it lasts for a turn. Thoughts become as audible to you as any voice, and those who care not about the privacy of all living things can hear them. This spell allows the magic user to perceive the thoughts of one character within 60 feet of him at a time. The caster understands the meaning of all thoughts, even if they don't share the person's language. The ability to hear thoughts is obstructed by a rock 2 inches thick or any amount of lead. So as you sort of hone your senses in on Lady Juliana Harper, you, in your mind, you hear a soft, feminine laughter, and you hear her thinking, "At last, now I will be in charge of the family. We can finally make something of the family, and once I've allied myself with Richard and the York family, once again, the Harpers will help shape the destiny of this land. No longer will we be a puling, lesser noble house, exiled to the coastal outskirts of the Havenlands."
That's all she wanted to know. And that's her turn.
Okay, Maddock. So Richard of York has sort of snapped at you to get the Lady Juliana to safety, but now she's thrown herself over the body of her brother, sort of like screeching that like her brother's been felled by these ruffians.
Right. Effectively, Maddox's just like, bang. He's been shot, and I'm like, oh well. one tick off the box. And he'll just kind of, now he knows that effectively nothing else needs to be done here by us.
Yeah.
It's just kind of like, right, and he'll like dramatically grab her and go like, "No, we need to get you to safety," and just kind of like put his arms around her waist and just kind of try and carry her away.
Okay, she struggles a little bit, you know, trying to sort of like remain over the top of her brother. But you're a strong burly dwarf. She's not, to put it bluntly. So if you want to move yourself to where you're moving, and I will station her next to you as you sort of pull her away. She's in floods of tears. She's like screeching, go, "Oscar! Oscar!" as you sort of drag her away to the side. Okay, Audra.
Okay, let's see. There's no, like, if I look this way, there's no, like, additional people charging from under the awnings or behind.
Not as far as you can
houses.
see.
Yep. Okay. Yeah, I think we're going to go here, and so this guy has a short sword.
Yes, he does, yeah. He looks very ragged. He's obviously not any part of any militia. He's like a bandit, effectively.
Okay, that's well, that's weird to me, not to Audra. He doesn't understand, but now, okay, I'm just gonna try and clobber him.
Okay, that's absolutely fine. Make your attack roll. His AC is 12.
There. Just no, not today.
Okay, as the bandit dives to one side to avoid an attack from the guard and Captain Hayes, your cudgel smashes to the ground, so in the space that he was occupying a few moments before. We move on to the NPCs. Captain Hayes, still sort of like one hand over his injury, moves up next to you, Audra, and he looks at you, nods, and then swipes his sword at the bandit in front of you. There is a loud scream, and the bandit is skewered through the chest, falling to the ground. Okay, meanwhile, the two soldiers here grab the body. Plus, they've not had a chance to check whether he's dead or not, although, William, you're pretty sure that was a killing shot. They grab Oscar and start dragging him away. The other guards start moving up to engage. And this swirling melee breaks out between them and the bandits. Richard of York steps up, draws his huge broadsword, and in his booming baritone voice says, "I would have treated with you fairly and given you a chance to lay down your weapons and discuss this like men, but to kill an unarmed man," at which point he takes his sword out and says, "I swear on the bones of my fathers that you will not live to regret your cowardly actions this day," and he points his sword towards them, almost daring them to approach and face him. We then move on to William.
My first instinct would be trying to somehow get rid of my crossbow, just so nobody can tell it was me.
Well, there's plenty of crates and carts.
Yeah, I could just put it somewhere. Or destroy it somehow.
You're stood next to a large cart at the moment. You could easily just chuck it into the cart. Or there's numerous crates about where you are.
Well, yeah, I think that's reasonable. I would just chuck it into the cart. Maybe when they search somehow for whatever weapon they used, they will just find it and assume it was the assassin, and that's it. I will just chuck it into the wagon and sneak over to behind Sasha and would reveal myself again. Stop hiding.
Okay. That's absolutely
That's my turn.
So we move on to Sasha.
To follow her dwarven friend and go over here and kind of lend a shoulder, whatever he's carrying her. But if not, just support.
Yeah, obviously, with your ESP, you know that all the floods of tears and the hysteria is an act. But to be fair, it's a fucking good act. If you hadn't got your ESP on, you'd be entirely convinced she was absolutely distraught and on the verge of a nervous breakdown.
This is good.
But as you're sort of looking at it, again, you can hear her thoughts, and she's thinking, it would appear that Atramos has been as good as his word. our pact will soon be complete, and now I will be in a position to make further use of his excellent services.
And those strong strong dwarven arms.
You notice that, although it's not sort of actual thoughts, she is indeed sort of like appraising the dwarf. She seems to have made the connection that like the two of you are connected, and obviously she seems to be aware that you're part of a company, and you can hear her thinking in your mind, these people could be extremely useful. I will need strong allies to maintain my position, and then once I've allied myself with the House of York, all of our fortunes will improve.
Well, since Sasha doesn't know about her connections with Corbin, she's playing nice and going with the dwarf and the lady.
Okay, that's absolutely fine. Speaking of the dwarf, we move on to Maddock.
Now we're a little bit clear. There doesn't seem to be any, and I'm assuming that I've checked my corners. I can't assess any danger that's in the
Yeah,
immediate.
you've had a look around. There doesn't appear to be any immediate danger. The only thing that's even vaguely near to you is the two guards like dragging Oscar away.
The sound of combat behind me kind of is calling to me, like a remaining open pub at 2 a.m.
Nice.
And I'll just kind of like look at Sasha now. Sasha's come over and just be like, Sasha, can you keep her safe while I go and deal with those whoever they are?
Yeah, absolutely.
Gravel bucket.
A gravel bucket. So glad that's good. But yeah, and effectively I will, if it's alright to move at the same as well, I will. How far can I move, John? Being a dwarf?
30 foot.
Oh, 30 foot, okay. Okay, I'll move across to here. Jogging round, not jumping over the body of the previous Lord Harper.
That's fine. He's sort of being carried by the two guards anyway. Mm-hmm. Okay, so we move on to Audra as Maddock starts making his way around towards the fray.
Right, so I nod to my dear friend, the captain.
You can see Captain Hayes has gone like a little pale, and there's still like blood leaking over this wound that he's holding his hand on.
Yeah, I was just about to say, like, how bad does it look? But
it looks like a serious wound. It's probably not going to be life-threatening, but if he like runs into this combat and takes a few more licks, it's not going to stand him in good stead. Like I say, he's already looking a little bit pale from blood loss, although you can see grim set resolution on his face.
Well, I'm gonna keep that in mind because my appraisal was that he's not gonna die on the spot. So I'm gonna just like grimly nod to him and vault over these crates and tables here. So that's 3. So I can easily make it there, unless that's like difficult terrain or whatever.
No, it's fun.
Yep. Okay. So I nod to him. I jump over the crates, and I presume that this bandit is dueling with the guard.
That's correct.
Yeah. So I'm gonna try and get a cheap shot in from behind as that's going on.
+2.
William with the bonuses.
You got a cheat sheet too?
No. I forget to open it every time. But yeah, so +2 for attacking him from behind. There we go. Well.
Nice.
That'll do it.
Yeah.
Okay, so would you care to narrate how you dispatch this unfortunate bandit?
Yeah. So basically, he's there doing his fencing thing with the guard. What are they equipped with, by the way? The guards, long swords.
The guards are long swords, yeah.
Yeah. So he's at a bit of a disadvantage, I think, because he has a short sword. So he has to basically like keep stepping back a lot more than the guard. So so he steps back like just into like basically my waiting arms. I bonk him on the head, raise him up, and drop him across my my knee, just like cracking the guy's spine in half.
You smash him, sort of knee dropping him and sort of smashing him in half almost.
Mm-hmm.
You hear the guard who's sort of like facing you go, "Fucking hell!"
And I was just toss him violently on the ground like a broken rag doll, and just like nods the guard. And there's this haze again because like Audra is getting into the battle frenzy. So I'm starting to billow a little bit of the darkness.
Indeed. And that is what happens. So we move on to the next turn, which is the NPCs. So the guard who was opposite you, Audra, moves in to help his comrade with the bandit there. However, this bandit appears to be proving quite difficult to deal with. But as you're watching, you do see one of the bandits that they're fighting fall as he's skewered by one of the guards. You see one of the bandit here sort of obviously thinks better of it and starts sort of beasting a hasty retreat. The guards up here drag Oscar sort of off the map effectively. The combat continues. You can see Hayes is making his way round towards where you are, Audra, although he's walking a little bit stiffly and with a pained expression on his face. We move on to William. However, I'm just going to move Richard up. He literally steps up between two of his guards and skewers one of the bandits clean through the heart. It's a killing blow with his large broadsword. Then he boots the bandit almost contemptuously off the end of his sword, pulling it out of his body with a William.
Okay. I would like to move near Sasha and Lady Harper and look at both of them, and would try to go down and look at her, maybe looking like I would to check she's alright. I would just whisper to her, she did speak demon with me last time,
She
correct?
did, yes.
I would whisper in demon, the deed is done.
You see a faint hint of a smile on her face as she lowers her head so only you can see it. And in a whispered voice, in the demonic tongue, she says to you, "And I will keep my part of the arrangement. And once I'm in control of my family, I will be able to act as a far more beneficial patron to you and your company, Atramos."
I'm still gonna maintain my mental reach ability.
Yeah, so as she's saying that,
you can understand her then?
Yeah, as she's saying that, you can understand all that she's saying, Sasha, because she's obviously thinking about what she's saying and you're picking up on the thoughts.
Do I know that Sasha has this ability?
No.
Nope.
Okay. I would just look at both of them. I did hide my crossbow. I would just still whisper to both of them. I did hide my crossbow, but the official story is that one of them did kill him and did throw his crossbow away, and I tried to follow him and missed him.
Still sort of putting on the act, Lady Harper nods. And then we move on to Sasha.
With my turn.
Well, let's get you out of here then. You never know if a stray arrow hits anyone. She's gonna move towards the inn.
Okay.
Assume that Lady Juliana will follow and will. So
Yeah.
I'm just gonna move up here and assume we're out.
Yeah, that's fine.
Is that cool?
Yeah, I'll put you both up there. That's absolutely fine. Okay, so we move on to Maddock. You can see as you look around Maddock that William, Sasha and Lady Harper have withdrawn from the area, along with the 2 guards carrying Oscar Harper.
Indeed. Right. I'm assuming that the tables, these particular tables, aren't of particular sturdy note.
No, they're just like wooden tables, and they're almost like trestle tables. They're not particularly sturdy.
Yeah. It's effectively like, in today's day and age, we used to kind of like funky parkour slides or jumps or something dramatic. I'm just going to run through those tables, like just kind of Roman-esque. Straightest line is the fastest to your target, and I will move myself.
Okay, now
like a dwarf late for supper.
Now, if you wish, you could effectively run, which would move you double your move, but you wouldn't be able to attack or anything.
Now I'm going to run to there, and if it's okay with you, John, I'm going to throw my shield at the back of the guy's legs if I can.
Nice. Go for it. Make an attack roll. It'll be using your base attack.
Base attack plus dexterity, maybe?
No, it'll just be your base attack.
Okay.
Okay. How do I roll my base attack?
Just
D20
roll your
plus.
Yeah, it's your D20 plus 1. That's because you're dwarf, so I presume that. Oh wait, maybe do dwarves get additional?
I don't think so. I think only the warrior gets more.
Well, since it's important, let me just have a look.
Well,
Yeah,
Dwarf
I don't think.
Dwarf had one cool ability.
I just didn't know whether it was anything on my character sheet I could click to roll, or whether it's...
Probably not, because
You usually have to click your weapons, but I assume you don't have your
Yeah, I've got my weapons set up. I
shields
just haven't got a
as a
base
weapon.
attack.
Yeah, so you just need to do a basic D20 roll plus your basic attack.
Okay, so...
Yeah, that's enough to hit him. Roll me a D4.
Oh. Hang on 1 second. I've skillfully closed my D20 window, my Roll20 window.
You can hit, like... Yeah, you can just click the D20 icon on your character sheet near your abilities,
Alright.
and then just add 1. Yeah, Skype keeps resetting for me for some reason.
Oh, you're back.
Yeah, Skype keeps resetting.
Hmm.
I don't know why.
Okay, so your shield has hit this guy and knocked him off his feet. So would you care to narrate how that goes down, Maddock?
Well, effectively, it was just bringing the shield over and running through these tables, just kind of using it as a snowplow of sorts. And just on getting through there, just kind of with a real want to be involved in some combat. Doesn't really know what's going on, just knows that these people are the people that are legitimately allowed to be attacked by us in public, and just launches the shield with kind of like a hungry glee towards the back of this guy's kind of fleeing visage, and it just kind of twirls and hits him in the back of the legs, and he falls with a thud to the floor.
Indeed, you can see he's scrambling to get to his feet, but it's like knocked the wind out of him as he's hit the hard sort of cobbles and stones of this dirt track. You see he's sort of like scrambling madly to get to his feet. He's actually dropped his short sword as he's fallen over. He's like scrambling to pick it up, but obviously he's like prone effectively at the minute. So we move on to Audra. The sound of the shield hitting the bandit still echoing throughout the street.
Okay. The captain is still like keeping to his feet. He's not about to like keel over. No. Okay. So I give off a roar and charge there. My intent is to basically like ram between these two guards to like smash this.
You see as you charge between the two guards, they sort of like look at you and then at the bandit, so they're not really sure who they should be attacking. Is this like crazy like miasma shrouded, like woaded up barbarian, clanking bling, holding this huge staff, like runs in between them, and they're like,
You can still use your blessing. Just
Yeah, this is where I'm gonna use my blessing.
Okay, make the attack roll. His AC's 12.
Yeah. Let's see.
how much of your blessing do you use?
I'm gonna use half of it, so I'm gonna use basically my blessing. For those who don't really know, I get bonus points, so to speak, to use on any roll I want except for damage. And I rolled 6 on my blessing, so I get 6 points. I'm gonna use 3 of those to give myself a bonus to hit this dude. So I come in with the and then let's see how that goes. So,
Is
can
that
you move through
inclusive?
people in this?
Is that inclusive?
Yeah.
or-
Yeah.
It's a 4 plus 3 plus 3.
Yeah, that was a bad roll. But John, can you move through people in this game?
I think given your size and the speed you're going at, yeah, sure.
So I basically I'm gonna suggest that I just run through. Like, I just bulldoze against this turned over table here.
Yeah, you pretty much spin the bandit round as you charge past him with your cudgel and slam into this table that is pretty much smashed to splinters already because Maddox just charged through it with his shield. You sort of stagger into a few of the smashed wooden stanchions of the table. Okay, we're going to the NPCs. Okay, the 2 guards here both lay in, spurred on no doubt by your war cry, Audra, they lay into this bandit and finish him off. He lets out a scream as he goes down amidst these 2 guards stabbing him with their swords. Okay, let me just do a quick measure. Okay, the guards sort of part, and Maddox, you see Richard of York run through the guards. He runs past you, obviously pursuing, heading towards the fallen bandit. His sword is drawn high over his head. His sort of fur-lined cloak is billowing out behind him. There's the clank of his armour as he's running, but he's just a little bit too far away to get to the guy. Okay, so I'm assuming William and Sasha, we're going to move past you because you've moved off the map. So we go on to Maddox.
Well, he has shown some gusto and want to get there, but my tiny legs will get there faster. I'm going to attempt to attack the guy with my hammer, and I don't know whether this is plausible, John, or not, because I know that the Duke of York is heading over there to dispatch this guy.
Yeah.
Is it possible to put a blow in that would effectively leave him to do a coup de grace?
Yeah, I mean, just make your normal attack, and if you would kill the guy, we'll say he's on 1 hit point, effectively.
No bonus. Oh, is he prone?
Plus
So I get
2 maybe, because he's lying down.
Yeah, I think that sounds perfectly reasonable. We'll give you a +2 because he's still scrambling to get to his feet and retrieve his weapon. He's not even armed at the minute.
Nice.
That'll do it. Straight down to 1 hit point for that cheeky chappy. Okay, so describe how you all but kill him.
Yeah. Effectively, the guy's trying to get up, and I will just kind of run past and level with him with a backswing, hit him kind of in the solar plexus with my hammer, and just kind of with a very crunchy, visceral sound, just break most of his ribs and leave him kind of spurting blood. And if I can, just kind of hook my hammer round his shoulder and turn him to face the Duke. Oncoming charge.
I think with that roll of 25 you certainly can. So you smash a bone-crunching blow into the solar plexus of this guy. You hear the crunching of his ribcage and shattering of bones. There's a of breath and blood sprays out of his mouth as you do that. You hook the end of your hammer round his neck and sort of spin him round as he falls to his knees. He's now on his knees facing the angry approaching figure of the Duke of York. But before Richard gets there, we have Audra picking himself up out of the debris of a table.
Yeah, so I burst out from the debris, sending bunches of I don't know what was on the table. Those look like
Pottery?
Yeah, there's like jugs. There's probably a bit of food, a bit of ale, etc. Yeah. So there's like a spray of like ale and bits of bread and cheese and fish go like flying everywhere.
Yeah, and I look around. I see that they just like shish kebab with this dude, and I see that Maddox has this thing under control here. So basically, I just like let off my victory bellow and laugh and walk to these two guys to like grab them into like a group hug, involuntarily as it may be.
Yeah.
Like,
as you walk over, they sort of like almost instinctively like go for their swords, and when you grab them, it's like a big bear hug. They're like, yeah. So like laughing nervously, like, oh, we have this barbarian who doesn't twist our heads off.
Yeah.
But they sort of laugh nervously.
That's how you do it. Well done.
Okay, and as you say that, Richard of York walks across to the almost dead last remaining bandit. He lifts his sword up, reversing it in his hands, looks down at the man with absolutely no pity on his grim set face, says, "There will be no song sung of your deeds, and no obituary for a curse such as you." And as he says that, he drives his sword down through the mouth of the figure into his chest and heart. The bandit spasms on the end of his sword, and then he pulls the sword out, flicking blood into the air, and the bandit is no more. Okay, and we are effectively out of combat rounds, guys.
Yeah, and this one bloody bastard of bandit killed Oscar. So we basically lost.
Okay, you see the guards are sort of like checking on each other. They're sort of dragging these bodies out of the way of the main thoroughfare. As this is going on, Audra, you hear a thump, and as you look around, you see that like Captain Hayes appears to have like slumped down onto his arse, basically, like he's sat down with his legs out in front of him, and he's sort of like he's coughing with quite a sort of wet, gurgling cough.
Yeah, I'm a jog over there, like let these two guards out of my grip, and I'm gonna go over there and just like I'll grab. Well, it's one of those. Yeah, there's a. Yeah, so I'm gonna grab like a chair or something for him to like prop up against, and I'm gonna try. He has like armor on, or
yeah, but it's only sort of like leather armor. It's not like full. He's got like a metal helmet, but he's not got a full like plate or anything.
Okay, so I'm gonna be like undoing the buckles and strings holding his leather armor, like the breastplate part together. So I'm there, like opening them, and just like shh, like. Shh.
You see, he appears to be like a bit delirious, probably from the lack of blood, and he's sort of like looking over in the direction of Maddox and the Duke of York, and he coughs, and in this slightly sort of like hazy, like out of it voice, he says, I never thought I'd live to see such a renowned war hero strike down his enemies. It was almost like he was using the Woden blade itself.
As I like get the armor open and like rip the shirt, and I'm gonna like brush off as much of the blood as I can, and like hold up my hands so that I can get some of the sleet in there, just like a few bits, and then like stuff it in the wound.
He lets out like a of pain as you like push this cold sleet into his wound.
And I'm gonna like mumble in in the words of the ancient ones. It's the like there's translation thing going on in the lower edge of the screen, and it's the same thing that Audra did way back when Sasha and the rest rescued him from the wagon. It's about asking Dagon to like allow this to pass as the rains do, and as the rivers flow under the bridges, and the sleet melts into his wound and cures him. Let's see what it was. I haven't had to heal anyone in a while, I just realized. We've gotten good.
That's because normally you cudgel first, heal later.
1d6.
Yeah, 1d6 plus my caster level. Yeah. Okay, so here goes. There. Okay, so you get 7 back.
Okay. That is enough to fully heal him. So as the sleet melts out of his wound, you see that the wound has actually disappeared as you clean the sleet off. Hayes' eyes seem to clear and he sort of pulls himself into a more upright position. He claps you on one of your muscular arms, Audra, and he says, "Thank you, my friend. Truly you are a miracle worker."
Yes, praise. Praise.
He looks at you and he smiles a little and nods but doesn't press further. Meanwhile, over where Maddock is, Richard of York looks at you, Maddock, and he says, "What is your name, Master Dwarf?"
My name's Maddock Weimar. What's yours?
He holds a hand out, that's a warrior's handshake towards you. And he says, "I am Richard, Duke of York."
Nice to meet you, Richard, Duke of York. I wish I'd have been under better circumstances.
He says, "I have campaigned in your homeland, and I know your folk to be stern and stalwart warriors. If you ever need a friend in the House of York, you have it, Master Dwarf." And he sort of shakes, and he's got quite even for a human, he's got quite a strong grip. He's a similar build to Audra. He's quite a statuesque sort of fella.
So I imagine we have kind of the standard manly handshake standoff there, where we're being cordial to each other. However, we're both matching each other's grip, so consistently kind of reaching the point where we stop just before it becomes informal.
Indeed, the Duke breaks the handshake and he scoops up a flagon of ale, in fact 2 of them, that are on one of the nearby crates, and he presses one of them into your hand and he says, "Your health, Master Dwarf."
And to yours.
And clink the flagon together, and he drains his flagon in one and wipes the foam off his beard with the back of a gauntleted hand.
I will do the same, but leave the foam firmly within my beard.
He starts walking over towards the guards and he says, "What news of Lord Harper?" The soldiers say.
I'll trot on behind him.
Yeah, that's absolutely fine. The soldiers say, "My lord, he was struck by a cowardly blow and he was carried away to safety. We don't know what state he's currently in." "Well, find out then, man," says the Duke. "If anything can be done to save his life, we must do it. We are here as guests, after all, of the Harper family." Which when the soldier's "Oh, yes, sir, no, sir, 3 bags full, sir." And he starts running off in the direction that Lord Harper was carried. Okay, so we're going to sort of close off this combat scene, but effectively you can all get involved in this. Don't worry too much about the map now. As this sort of event winds to a close, it becomes obvious as the body of Oscar Harper is inspected that he is in fact dead. The crossbow bolt has pierced his heart, and it was a killing blow. The soldiers also a couple of them take off their helmets and hold them across their chests respectfully. Lady Juliana is still in floods of tears. She's absolutely distraught. The Duke of York, sort of, in quite a kindly, sort of gentle fashion, takes her off Sasha, and he says, "There, my dear. We'll get you back to your estate. You've had a terrible ordeal." He turns to one of the other soldiers and says, "We still have the matter of burying the old Lord Harper. we must see that his funeral is complete before today, but I would with all my heart wish that we had not caused to bury his son with him as well. But sadly, we rarely get what we want these days. And like a little look of sadness crosses his face. And then he turns to the Lock Adventuring Company, who all of you guys sort of dotted about, and he says, "Thank you for your timely aid and assistance in this matter."
I will have redonned my alcohol backpack. I'm probably, while he was having like the more formal chat, just kind of sidled up to Audra and just been kind of like, "So they're going to a funeral. Will they just double up, or dig a hole, or?"
They have these sorcerers in there to do magic on the bodies before they put them in the ground. They have these large caves where they have these stone boxes where they put the corpses afterwards.
They seal them away so they can't come back like the Lord of Words.
Yeah. Hey, you're you're not half dumb. Mm.
Thank you. Would you like a drink? And I'll just kind of like pour a backpack pint.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I'll grab it, chug it.
I'm just trying to hide my face, and when someone directly looks at me, he could see that my face is becoming darker and darker currently.
Okay, yeah, no one seems to be paying undue attention to you at the moment, William. Obviously, the soldiers are trying to ensure that the bodies are moved away, and that the body of Lord Harper, well, the two Lord Harpers, are taken to the church. The Duke of York has drafted a couple of soldiers in and they're helping him take the distraught Lady Juliana back to the estate. The Duke of York turns to his guards and he says, tell the priest of the church that we will have to reschedule the funeral until later this evening, and inform them of the unfortunate death of the young Lord Harper. He looks at Lady Juliana and he says, I understand this is a terrible time for you, my dear, and his voice takes on a kindly sort of note, but you must think of your family in this time. I'm aware that Lord Draco had no other male heirs. That leaves you to soldier on and lead your family. I know it's a terrible burden to be placed on your young shoulders, but we all have our crosses to bear, my dear. She sort of nods, still in floods of tears. Yeah. Like, say, obviously, you know, Sasha, it's an act. Obviously, William, you know, it's an act. But again, it's a fucking good act. At which point, she says, "Oh, but Richard, one of our earlier discussions," and he says, "There'll be time enough for that later, my dear, and we need to get you back to your estate, give you time to grieve, and then we will see to honouring your father and your brother in the way that is traditional." His guards have headed off to tell the priests, etc., and you see Richard and the couple of guards he's drafted in leading Juliana back towards the Harper estate. What are you guys up to?
Sasha will attempt to round them up. The dwarf, the barbarian, the demon.
I would try to clean myself underneath my curtain and have something like a cloth, and when you see the cloth again, you can see it's becoming black and wet.
I guess that was it. I think we should go to Marco's house and have a pint from the Maddox backpack supply.
Maybe we should go to our house?
Well, Marco's is closer, and I want to check if I can find any paperwork there.
Oh, okay. Once I got better, and I point at my face, I would try to enlist some guys to protect our stuff.
Mhm.
How many do we need?
But the question is, how many can we get in a time of war?
And I try to get some sailors to protect our things.
Try to get
4?
4. Seems good.
Okay. I
Also,
will take the
John,
money from our company pocket, right?
Nah, just I'll handle the upkeep. Oh, you want to go out and buy them now?
Yeah.
He kind of goes in and wipes a finger across his face.
As soon as possible.
Obviously,
Try to calm down.
obviously, you guys know that Porthcrawler is a port. There are plenty of ships in the harbour, obviously crewed by sailors. I mean, it's part of the reason why you can get certain things in Porthcrawler that you wouldn't be able to get elsewhere, because there's always like sailors coming off the ships, spending all their money, like, and going, oh shit, I've got no more money for like beer, etc. Oh, I've just like sell some possessions. I've got to like get me some extra grog until I go back on the ship, etc. William heads down to Smelly Alley, where he makes the acquaintance of Ian Gringold, an ex-sailor now turned tobacco seller, whom he's seen a number of times selling his wares. After a short discussion with Gringold, the old man agrees to see if he can round up a few likely-looking sailors who might be willing to serve as guards in return for payment. William gives him a small down payment on this, and asks him to send the workers up to the new headquarters of the Lock Adventuring Company. Whilst William is talking to Ian Gringold in Smelly Alley, the rest of his companions make their way to the house of Marku, the sadly deceased elf who was once part of their number.
Okay, as soon as they get there, I'm assuming it's a little rough, since we didn't treat it that well.
Yeah. It was never that fine, to be honest.
Okay. But this is the house of a friend, a former member of the company, she says to Maddox.
All right. And is he a demon?
No, well, he was an elf. I heard they are demons.
Oh, all right. One of those.
But no, he's gone now, so don't have to deal with him. But maybe we could find the deed for his house. And a fair warning, and he kind of goes over to where they put they went into the caves.
Mm-hmm.
You don't want to go down this tunnel.
So they show you that in this building there appears to be like basically a big hole in the floor that appears to lead to like an earthen tunnel underneath. And Sasha's like, yeah, you don't want to go down that tunnel.
I'll kind of start to look kind of confused, but then just kind of like, okay. Alright.
Well, you know what, Ogren? Maybe we should go down there.
Yes, there is that one unfortunate fellow with fancy armor and a big weapon. So
I'm not sure. Yeah, but I'm thinking more of to weigh the damages. Now we have a dwarf among us. You see, last time we were down there, we had an unfortunate encounter with some misguided followers of Dagon, and
all right. So there's lots of followers of Dagon around here, then.
Yeah, and we had a heated argument with them that unfortunately didn't end well.
And are they dead?
There's a splintering of wood and a huge green crab claw bursts up through the floorboards, grabs hold of Sasha and like yoinks her down into the darkness below.
Comedy timing.
What the fuck is it with this damsel thing? She always gets grabbed by his tentacles and shit. Okay, she panics.
Okay, you hear Sasha like screaming as she disappears into the darkness.
I have to save you again. You're the only female in the group and I have to save you again? I think I saved you already 2 times or 3 times.
The last time she has to save herself because Ogden was all Daemon. Dagon.
Yeah, you saved Audra.
Okay, you guys have got a few moments to react before this thing does whatever terrible things it's going to do to Sasha. What are you doing, guys? Sasha's disappeared.
I sent my rats down there saying them to attack everything but Sasha.
I will jump down the hole.
Okay, you jump down the hole. It's entirely dark.
Rats don't have to see, just so you know.
Oh,
They
yeah,
can
yeah.
smell and use
Oh, yeah,
their
the rats are
use their
fine.
ears and whatever.
Do I have any kind of dark vision as a dwarf, John, or is that not a
Nope,
thing?
It's not a thing.
Okay. In the darkness that is the hole, John,
Yep.
have I landed on something, or am I on the ground?
Yeah, you land on stony ground. Up ahead of you, you can hear Sasha screaming, the shrieking of rats, and this, like...
Right. I will try and grab a torch and my tinderbox at hurried speed, so I can try and light up a torch so I can see where I'm following this crab.
Okay, that is absolutely fine. Just give me a moment.
So
And-
you're doing a speed run in the darkness again.
And what I'm going to do is I'm going to move you onto the map of the tunnels. I've put Audra and William on there, sort of at the head of the tunnel, just in case you choose to go down there. So just give me a moment to move you all across.
Yeah, this was a trip and a half last time, so it should be good.
Yeah. I kind of like the idea of how Maddox, it starts out with binding the demon Lord of Words, and then it just gets worse after that.
Yeah, it's like, by the way, I'm a demon. We need to kill this royal. Let's go and kill a crab in the dark.
Okay, so Maddox, as you light your torch, up ahead of you, you can see this swarming mass of rats. You can also see this giant green crab that appears to have sort of like vaguely human forms melded to it, as though they've been like melted into its carapace. It's holding Sasha in one of its huge claws. And I think we should probably bring up the initiative tracker at this point.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
Can I just to check, can you guys see yourselves on the initiative tracker? I'm guessing not.
Just
No.
the NPC.
Yeah, that's fine.
Do you have these stats for the rats?
I do.
Okay. I didn't save them, so sorry.
It's alright. So I'm just going to move you guys about a bit so I can actually add your turn on. Just give me a moment.
Was it green before?
Yep.
Yeah.
Although it didn't have the sort of melted people melded onto it before. It's almost as though it was caught in some sort of hideously mutating blast of fire or something.
Some kind of
You know.
arcane magical fire?
Yeah, we'll never know what happened.
Okay, now since William and Audra aren't actually down there, we're going to move on to Maddox first.
Right. It isn't without trepidation that I make this choice, but I'm like, and just effectively charge in, and I'll like attempt to give the crab a good hammering.
Okay, its AC is 19.
Delightful.
Okay,
Not so
you
much.
strike it with your hammer and the blow glances off its carapace. William and Audra, from where you are now, in the flickering, so as you're peering down the hole, in the flickering light, you can now see this huge green crab. Obviously, Audra, you recognise it, having seen it previously. Now, I'm going to say, as Maddox swings his hammer, the one thing that it does do is it gets the crab to drop Sasha, because it's like turning towards you as a more obvious threat. So we go on to Sasha, so you're not actually grappled, Sasha.
Okay. Did she drop her pistol, or is that still in her hand?
I'll say you probably dropped it, but you can quickly like scoop it up. That's not a problem.
Yeah. You know what? She's gonna scamp over here, and I know we talked about this, John, but the idea was that she wanted to write the magic missile spell over. Could she do that in that time?
Not in that time, no.
Okay. Okay. She draws a pistol and shoots then.
Okay, make your misfire check first. See if you manage to actually fire it.
That would also be considered shooting in melee.
Indeed. However, I'll say instead of like it being a 50-50 chance of hitting Maddox, effectively it'd be like a 2 in 3 chance of hitting the crab because it's so big.
10. I forgot. Was low bad?
Yeah, you're fine.
Okay.
Okay, so you're taking this shot, so can you please roll me a d6? If you get a 1 or a 2, you've hit Maddox.
Or one of my rats.
Okay, so you've successfully hit the crab, so make your attack roll.
I'm not concerned about the rats. Okay, so she succeeded in making everything smoky, and everyone has a loud ringing noise in there.
Yeah, there's like a loud and a billow of smoke as Sasha fires her pistol. You see it score a shallow mark on the shell of this chitinous beast, but it doesn't actually appear to do it any damage. However, as you're close in, Maddox, you can see this thing actually already appears to have like several wounds over it, as though like it had been in some sort of like horrendous fight or perhaps some sort of fire-related accident shortly before.
Curious.
Does this thing make a morale check? Because in a enclosed room, a pistol was shot nearby.
No,
It's
effectively,
seen some stuff and some things.
effectively, this thing is like batshit crazy.
It was
no,
hit
it
with a
doesn't.
nuclear bomb. I don't think.
Yeah. as you're sort of ducking and weaving around it, Maddox, you can see these like sort of melded like humans and sort of twisted up shapes that are sort of melded into the side of it. Are all like,
We are slowly going to a post-apocalyptic phase of this game.
Okay, so
Okay,
we're
well.
on to the NPCs. Okay. So, unsurprisingly, it's going to attack Maddox. And luckily for you, in the confined spaces of this tunnel, it seems to be at a bit of a disadvantage, and with your smaller height aiding you, you duck under a clumsy swipe of its claw. It hits the rocky wall of this cavern, and rocks are just like cascade down.
Obviously, it got smoke in his eyes.
Indeed.
Lame.
It's certainly not dealing from a full deck. Okay, Audra, obviously you see all this going on from like where you are up at the top of the tunnel. Do you want to get involved? What are you doing?
Yeah. I can't see anything on the map, but I presume that Audra can see because there's light down there.
Yep.
So I would get down. Get down.
Okay, can you see now on the map?
I can.
Just a moment.
Maybe you need to scroll with the map.
Is it supposed to be where you guys are pinging?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I can't. I can select my token though. So
That's weird. Let me just have a look. You should be able to see that. I'm not sure why you can't.
Maybe it's a roll 20 bug.
Just give me a...
Try to move your token around. Sometimes that illuminates it.
Let's see. I think this is me. Yeah.
Does that give you any light?
Where you're moving?
No, I can't see anything more.
Well, it's not that complicated. There's some rats and mud and the crab.
I'll just refresh my Roll20. But anyway, I'm gonna jump down there.
Can you see now?
Oh yes.
I've basically just whacked like a torch light onto your character. I don't know what was causing that, but that seems to have sorted it out.
Yep. Okay. So. Okay, it's pretty full in here.
The rat swarm is not really occupying the space. It's just running around all inside here.
Yeah. Gloom crab. Great. I am going to try and whack it. And I basically just go, Dagon! And try to...
You still got 3 points of your blessing, just as a reminder.
Yeah, and maybe tap into his rat slayer talent and visualize the doom crab as a rat.
Yeah.
Would it be considered attacking from behind because it's 2 persons now and the rats?
No, because effectively this thing's got many different eyes looking out in all directions.
This is some like Zamizi bullshit. Yeah. So here goes. I'm gonna use the rest of my blessing on this.
Go!
There we go.
Yeah.
There we
Nice.
Nice.
Okay.
A crit.
Okay, so you've delivered a massive blow to this thing to the point where, like, it doesn't look like it's got much more left in it. So describe how you deal this crushing blow to this giant gloom crab.
So I get down into the tunnel, and there's just the one flickering light with Maddox's torch, was it?
Yeah.
So I come in charging, and I see this malformed thing in there that I met before, and I raise my fish-head cudgel up in the air. It's just like scraping the probably the roof of the place, and I charge forward and do like a tiger leap towards it, and just go big on as I fly towards it and like smash against it with my body weight and just like clobber the multiple heads of the thing.
As you leap through the air shouting "Dagon," sort of lifting your cudgel up, you have one of those sort of cinematic moments where everything seems to pause for a few moments and go quiet as this thing turns to regard you with its many twisted faces, and in many different mouths it speaks out and says, "You did this. You despoiled the shrine of the..."
Yep.
Okay.
So I'm basically just like I fling myself on it, so I'm there in the appendages and the gross like cracked kitten. Yeah.
Indeed. Okay, William.
I assume the rats are on my initiative?
Yep.
Okay, the rats would just run all over this thing and biting and clawing. You added an attack on it. Is it correct? +1, 1d6? Okay.
That's correct, yep.
No bonus?
Nope.
Okay. Nope.
Okay, your rats scamper over it, biting and clawing at it, but they have trouble getting past the armoured hide of this creature.
At least maybe they get its attention, but let's see. And William would just jump down and run towards Sasha and would... can I? One moment.
I think Ogren has its attention.
Yeah, most likely. I draw my skin.
It's that whole leaping through the air screaming Dagon.
Yeah.
Yeah, go for it, William.
It's no sneak attack in this case,
No.
even though... okay.
Like
Try.
I say, it's got all these twisted, malformed sort of people meshed into it with all the eyes in all directions.
Okay. No bonus. No hit.
Okay, your rapier glances off its armoured hide. Okay, so...
I'm not that good in melee. Audra is 2 times in initiative. Just so you know.
It's actually even worse for you. Have -2 on that attack because it has an AC of higher 15.
Okay, so I've removed the second Audran from the initiative, so it's Maddock.
Huh? Why do I have a minus?
Rapier poor against armored opponents.
Oh, sure. Yeah, I forgot.
Yeah, I will just go again for another hammer shot to just finish off this grotesque gloom crab.
Okay, go for it.
Or not.
Your hammer blow rings loudly in the confined passageway, but glances off its armoured hide. We now come on to Sasha.
Yeah. Sasha is gonna scream incoherent, spewing of words. She's gonna lift her pistol and try to shoot, but has forgotten that it's not loaded, and then she'll just run away.
Okay, no problems. Okay, so we move on to the NPC. So, as I'm sure you'll all expect, it's going to attack Audran because he did the whole Dagon leap of flying fury. So, what's your AC, Audran?
I don't have my royalist super armor on because we were at the funeral. So is 12 the basic?
Yep.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Well, yeah. There.
Okay, so it does you 5 damage. So mark that off on your hit point total. It flings out one of its claws, and you throw yourself to one side, but it catches you a glancing blow. And like I said, don't forget to amend your hit points. Lovely, thank you very much. Okay, so back around to Audran again, as you're sort of picking yourself up from this blow.
I think I'm just gonna go right back in, just rebound from the a pretty hefty slap that I got just now. Just right back in. I'm gonna try to jump on it once more, not with as much speed this time, but let's see. Fish head. Oh, there we go.
Nice.
Okay, you deliver it another powerful blow. It's literally just hanging on. So describe how you...
So, I imagine this is the part of the fight where 2 big guys are punching each other. Neither of them are bothering to dodge at all. So it's just a slugfest with it going and I just and I pull back and smack it and turn and just stand there.
Old Bud Spencer movie.
As you smack it, you actually detach one of these sort of twisted and melded humanoids, one of these deep ones that's sort of warped and melded into the side of it. There's a loud as this humanoid form just detaches and falls to the ground, showering you in blood and viscera. William.
Yeah, whatever. I just try to attack again. Reds first. 13. I assume it's not. And since I see that the rapier is not working, I try to using my knife. $15 is also not a hit.
Okay, you're unable to score a hit on it. Maddock. This thing's sort of slowly collapsing to the floor, but it's still thrashing about with its claws.
Yeah, well, I fancy my chances this time. I'm just going to try and... Is there, as it looks to be relatively immobile, is there any chance I can try and specifically go for an eye or something like that? Some kind of a squishier part of it?
Yeah, you can. So it's just for flavour, though. It won't give you any particular bonuses. But yeah, you can do.
Okay.
Okay, unfortunately, you're unable to find a suitably squishy part of it. Sasha, I presume you're carrying on running away?
Yes.
Okay, so we'll skip over you. Move on to the NPC, which is again going to attack Audran.
Bring it, crab dude.
Okay. It hits you for 2 points of damage. Again, it's sort of struggling in its death throes, and only manages to score a shallow blow on you.
And now kill it.
I really wish I could cast Bless again before I hit.
Well, you could try it, but you'd risk incurring the displeasure of your deity.
Yeah.
But he couldn't attack afterward, right?
Yeah, that's my. I'm cool with Dagon being like, oh, you want some lightning up your butt? But I need to hit this dude.
Well, you seem to be the only one who's really doing any sufficient damage at the minute.
Yeah.
Is it worth you retiring to like do your bless?
Not really. So I'm just gonna continue with the I feel its blows getting weaker, so I'm just standing there taking them and giving as good as I get, hopefully worse. So here goes another swing. There we go.
Okay,
You've got so much luck, man.
That is enough to finish it off. Describe how you take down this gigantic gloom crab.
So, it slashes me. My blood mixes with the deep one blood on me, and I reel back and lean forward to give it a bash. Is there the main crab head still somewhere visible, the original thing? So I just go in there and I hit it with my cudgel, and it the chitin cracks, and there's this disgusting semi-white gray ooze that starts pouring out, and the eyes pop out, and I just keep smacking the original crab face until it's just
Indeed.
And spray.
Indeed, as your rain blows down on it, all of you are sort of in contact with it, are coated in a liberal showering of brown and white crab meat.
Yeah, my rats immediately start eating it.
Yep.
Also, however, whatever is the maximum of my miasma range, it's fucking darkness spell up in here. Audra is very emotional right now, so I'm just billowing in this black fog.
You got a nice aura. Okay. Could we maybe end it here for the session?
Indeed, I was going to say that seems to be an appropriate place to end it. You all make your way back out of the tunnel, obviously ensuring the crab's dead first. The rats of William devour pretty much all but the shell of this thing, and you all retreat to safety to find Sasha up above in Marco's house, now with a second hole in the floor. You hear a town crier outside announcing that the funeral of the two Lords Harper is going to be held this evening at the Church of Peace or Repose. All are expected to attend, and you all breathe a sigh of relief knowing that you are, for the moment, safe. And that is where we are going to end the session, guys. Thank you very much for playing. I hope you all enjoyed the session.
Thank you for jamming.
No problem. As always, I'm happy to chat for a while afterwards, but for now I'm going to end the recording. So thank you anyone who's watching this either now or in the future. We'll hopefully see you in the next session. Take care.
Good night.